Recently, I fell into a bout of nonstop negative thinking, which was triggered by none other than the global economy crisis. Okay, so this is how it started. I got a bill from my auto insurance saying that they're increasing it by $100 more. So this led me to think about how the gas prices were crazy high right now. I mean, I live in California, specifically the Silicon Valley, and right now I think we're paying about $7 a gallon, whereas a year ago it was only half that. Thoughts about the inflated gas prices led me to think about grocery prices and how it increased by 50%. My husband Jay and I have a budget, and we're noticing that it's getting tighter since our income stayed relatively the same while everything else went up. Anyway, thinking about that led me to think about my work and how I'm not pulling in an income right now. If this continues on, then what's going to happen to us in the future, I thought. Am I going to have enough money to retire? Is this how it's going to be from now on? And, as you can imagine, at that point, I was a ball of anxiety and worry and just feeling helpless. All this culminated to me thinking about the global financial crisis. And as you know, in this anxiety-driven state, I started searching online, clicking articles after articles, reading up and trying to figure out what the government was going to do about this. And anyway, that's the spiral I was in. So, in this video, I thought I'd take this opportunity to share with you the steps I take to pull myself out of negative spirals like this. To do that, I remind myself of these 4 truths that I'm about to share, and these truths help me first take back control, then neutralize the negative thoughts, and then ultimately empower myself. Truth number 1. I can feel anything without me acting on it. The first instinct people have when they're in a negative spiral is to get rid of the painful emotion. So they try to distract themselves by, eating, playing games, going on social media, or what have you. But me, I try to simply sit with the emotion without doing anything about it. I first recognize that I'm anxious. Then I let myself sit with the anxiety. I let my mind run off with the anxious thoughts and let myself feel the uncomfortable emotions. But I'm just silently sitting there and letting it just be without me reacting to it. Now, what this does is it takes the power out of the emotion and it gives it back to me. I'm basically proving to myself that I can have uncomfortable emotions, but that I have the ultimate control. It almost feels like I'm letting a kid have its tantrum without me giving in or reacting to it. Cry all you want, but that's not going to make me do what you want me to do, is what I'm saying to my mind, essentially. When I do this, what happens after a while is, and it really doesn't take that long, the racing negative thoughts soon exhausts and quiets down, and what's left behind is just the emotions. Now, when the thoughts quiet down, I know there's enough internal space to start introducing some other truths. Truth number 2. What's the reality right now? The next truth I remind myself of is the reality I'm in right now. Not the one my mind is imagining about the future, but the reality I'm actually in right now, at this very moment. Now, when I was anxiously thinking about the global financial crisis and how it might affect my own finances, it felt like the danger was imminent, that it was right here, right now. And that's how it often feels like when I'm deeply in a negative mode. It feels like if I don't do something about it right away, we're all going to die. Okay. Well, not really die, but you get the feeling. Now, through experience, I know what my mind is telling me isn't true. No. So in moments like this, I ask myself, what's my reality right now? And the reality I'm in right now is, today, I'm not running out of money. Today, I'm provided for. In fact, I'm okay tomorrow too, and the next day, and the day after that. And Even with inflation, Jay and I have enough to survive for a while. That's my reality. Bringing my focus back to my current reality neutralizes my negative thoughts and it brings it up to zero. I know that whatever is not real right now is imagined, meaning it exists only in my head and doesn't actually exist, including my thoughts about the looming danger in the future. They're not real. Truth number 3. I am an unreliable source when it comes to the future. The next truth I remind myself of is that in a state of anxiety, it almost feels like I can see the future clearly. I mean, the danger feels so real. But I know this has happened before. Several times in the past, I was so certain of the impending doom the future was about to bring. But every single time, I was wrong, and everything turned out fine. For example, I had a chance to read through my journal recently, and in one of the entries that I wrote in 2018, I had written about how I was financially struggling at that time. I had written that my circumstance was never going to change and that I'm helpless to endure through it. But the me right now knows that a few months after I wrote that entry, everything was resolved, and Jay and I came out of it perfectly. So honestly, I wish I could somehow telepathically tell myself, my 2018 self, not to worry and just wait and see how things unfold. But getting back to my point, you see, the truth is we have no clue when it comes to the future. Our perception right now can't see the changes the future will bring. There are so many factors in play right now. Factors that are outside of our awareness, which can shift the situation drastically. So when we're in a negative spiral, it's good to remind ourselves of that we are an unreliable source when it comes to the future. Truth number 4. Based on who I am, I can logically deduce how I'll act. The last truth I remind myself of is the person I am. It's the person I proved myself to be in the past. It's the person I am being right now. Oftentimes it's commonly called the I am statements. So for example, I remind myself that I'm someone who is great at managing finances. And I'm not just saying this to somehow manipulate myself into thinking that I am when I know I'm not. No, actually, in the past, I have proven myself again and again through 2008 recession, through times I was broke with nearly $90,000 in debt, how wisely I am with money. So I know I'll be financially prepared if something scary were to happen. I'm great at this. I also remind myself that I'm intuitively sensitive. So I've always been someone who follows my intuition because it leads me to where I need to be and to make the right decisions. And what my intuition is telling me right now is to keep my head down and focus on my work and not worry about the global financial crisis. Reminding myself of who I am makes me feel empowered and reminds me that I am not helpless, that I know who I am in the face of life challenges. In conclusion, negative spirals, it's something we're going to have to deal with as long as we're here on Earth. But honestly, I think the trick is to not take it so personally and to let it go through its process and pass it through. Kind of like a cold, Okay, guys, comment down below how you come out of negative spirals and what methods work for you because honestly, I would love to learn some new techniques. And like always, thanks for being here. Thanks for being you and shining your presence. And I hope to connect with you again in my next video. Regards, Ray.
Oh no. Thank you.